Hey guys, Fox here, and today we're going to be looking at some XFL news. Why? Well, there's been a couple huge stories coming out the last couple days. One of them is a very, very massive story, and the other one is still a big deal, but not as big a deal. That's going to be the Vegas Vipers potentially relocating and the Houston Roughnecks leaving TDECU. So let's go over the smaller one. The smaller one of these two news breaks is the Roughnecks. So, from James Larson, who's along with Mike Mitchell are basically the two most trustworthy sources in USFL and XFL news, he says that the Roughnecks are likely set to move to Rice Stadium for the 24 season, moving out of TDECU. Apparently, the league was basically forced to play there, and they didn't really want to, probably due to money. They didn't want to actually be there, and thanks to the renovations coming to TDECU in 2024, the XFL has an out, and they're going to use that. So, it's not confirmed, but let's pretend it is. What is the exact difference going to Rice Stadium, and is it a good thing? Well, you gotta think it's a good thing money-wise. If they want to get out of the deal, which they did at the very beginning, it is safe to assume they're getting a much better deal monetarily wise to go to Rice Stadium. Optics-wise, this is a bit of an L move. The Roughnecks in attendance during the 23 season really weren't that good. They never had over 13,000 fans a game, and they were playing at a 40,000 seat stadium, so it looked pretty bad. And now they're going to a stadium that has 47,000, which can be expanded to 59,000. Just not a great sign. I mean, their only game above 13,000 was the division finals, which, if that's their ceiling, going to a bigger stadium is just going to make the crowd look worse unless they expand. So, really, the only benefit is got to be the money. So, this is one of those moves where it's an okay move to me. But now it's time for the Vipers. This is the big deal. So, as of August 31st, I believe this email was sent to season ticket holders and stuff, and that's the Vipers are not going to be playing Cashman Field. So, it's confirmed they're not playing at Cashman Field, but there are reports that they might go back to Vegas. And recently, as of yesterday, there was news that Portland is a new site they might go to. The other two cities that they are debating is Tempe, Arizona, and Nashville, Tennessee. So those are the four options: Vegas, Tempe, and Nashville, and Portland. So why do they want to leave? Well, I mean, we all remember this game. Whenever you tune into week 2 and you saw this game, you knew it was bad. The field was atrocious. It was obvious from the very beginning, both if you were in the loop of the XFL news or out of the loop, that the only reason they were playing games in Vegas and had a team there was because a couple higher ups really wanted a team in Vegas. They kind of got forced to go to Cashman Field. I believe they had a really good deal to go there, technically. That's how they're able to get out so quick. But, I mean, look at it. It was a disastrous field. And in terms of attendance, every game it looked like the numbers were inflated, yet even if they weren't, only 6,000 is still horrific. That is by far the worst across either spring football league for a team that plays in their home stadium. Yikes. So, very good thing that they're leaving this stadium. And so, what are the options? Well, the one I think that's the worst option is they stay in Vegas. I don't think there's any reason to keep them in Vegas. You only had 6,000 fans per game at Cashman. Am I going to expect them to jump threefold if they go to Allegiant Stadium and have 18,000 fans a game, which still would look terrible in Allegiant Stadium? We saw how bad good crowds look in big stadiums. Just look at the Michigan Panthers having 15,000 people in a couple of their games, and it looks like nothing because how big the stadium is. That's what would happen at Allegiant Stadium, except even worse. So, the real options are the three different places. Now, the best in terms of venue, I would say, is definitely Portland. Providence Park is a 25,000 seat stadium, naturally, with them being the teams from the MLS and NWSL, I believe it is, or one of the other leagues played in that stadium. So, could be some, issues in overlap and stuff. But overall, it's a very solid stadium. It's a smaller one, so having a okay-ish crowd actually will look pretty decent there. And considering the fact that Portland only has the Timbers, the other soccer team, and then the Trailblazers, which granted the Trailblazers play at the same time, I think that overall this is the best one. Though very new reports say that Portland is the last of these options, which sucks. So yeah, now we have Tempe. Sun Devil Stadium is one thing a lot of people, especially on the Reddit, are hating, but I think it's a good idea. Look, Sun Devil Stadium is like a spring football haven. The OG USFL had the Wranglers play there. Then the AAF had a team there, the Hot Shots, if I remember correctly. And then now they could have the Vipers, or if the Vipers change their name, you know what I mean. I actually think this is a decent one. I think that outside of Providence Park, this is the second best option. I think putting a team in Arizona is a really good idea. And even as a USFL fan, I think it would be a very smart move for the XFL to put a team there. As if the USFL continues to only expand the teams that were in the OG league, you basically put a hamper on the Wranglers coming back. So it'd be a very smart move. Now, the only issue though, competition. Look, not even counting NFL, but just teams playing against them at the same time, you're going to have the Phoenix Suns, the Arizona Coyotes, and the Diamondbacks all playing at the same time. Yeah, that's not the best. So then we have the third option, and that's the Nashville option, which is Nissan Stadium. Another huge stadium, so really huge, so not the best in terms of, eye appeal. And this one I think is actually pretty decent. Look, it's not really going to overlap with the Memphis Showboats because Nashville to Memphis, it's not like it's, a 1 hour, it's not right next to each other. It's a pretty decent drive. So I don't think you're going to have much of an issue with, overlap of teams from those places. So that's a good thing for them. So then you have competition. You do have Nashville SC and you do have the Predators, which, that does hurt. But still a decent place. And we saw with the Showboats that crowds, at least in Memphis, were really good, and maybe Nashville can be the same. So yeah. So which of these do I think is the best? Like I said, or what I rank them? I'd probably rank them Providence Park at number 1, Sun Devil Stadium number 2, Nissan 3, and Allegiant 4. Same with the cities. I think that's the best order of it. So yeah. So I'll be definitely looking out for more news about this, waiting to see what confirmation is and what the news is. Be on the lookout. This has been Zomfox. If you enjoy this content, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. We do videos at least once every few days during the off season. And as always, have a great night.